Every so often, I just go out and I buy a product because it interests me. I oftentimes try to identify a product that's really going against the grain of the overall industry, and I do that to provide unique perspectives. Now, today I'm going to tell you how that turned out with the FitBit Versa 2 with Amazon's voice assistant on board. Hello automators, thanks for tuning in again. I'm Brian from Automate Your Life, and today I'm going to take the frustration out of automation by ensuring that you save time and money. Now, regardless of which way my recommendation goes by the end of this video, this is a budget smartwatch, and so it's something a little bit unique, a little bit different than the overall industry, and so you're going to definitely gain some perspective here today. The FitBit Versa 2 is first and foremost a fitness tracking and health monitoring watch or smartwatch. Now, it's a $200 US product that really comes to us from one of the pioneers in this industry. They also give you can see right here, this kind of specialized USB charging cable, and it also has all of the different sensors on board, and it's what they do with those sensors that is really what's important. Those sensors allow you to track different fitness activities as well as different components of your fitness. So you can track your activity throughout the day. It has an accelerometer on board, or a number of accelerometers. As a fitness tracker, it measures steps and stairs, how many stairs you've climbed or flights of stairs. It measures heart rate, and it also measures your sleep cycles and some of the fitness activities that you do. You can go ahead and start up a actual fitness activity and say that you're lifting weights or going for a run or going for a bike, and it will actually log that time, your heart rate throughout that time, and really tell you how many calories you're burning on any given day. Therefore, with those calorie burning computations going on here, they can also help you manage your food, your weight, your water intake, and overall give you a look at your overall health. You can also do some guided breathing sessions, which actually I've found very useful when I get nasty YouTube comments on my videos. You go through kind of a 2-minute process, and it really actually does lower your heart rate, and you start to learn little things about yourself, and that's one of the things I'll talk about in the like section. But you can also do things utilizing some of the interface here, like get weather. You can get news from services like Flipboard. You have the ability to see notifications, so calls come in, you can actually answer them, and they're connected to your phone, and so you can go ahead and answer them. And on Android phones, you can see text no matter which kind of phone you have, but then on an Android phone, you can go ahead and reply to those texts using voice replies or quick replies. So there's a couple of different options there, and so this is really an extended capability on what used to be just a fitness tracker. Some of the other big features that they've added to the Versa 2 here: Amazon's voice assistant is on board. It is very easy to go ahead, set a timer, set an alarm, control your smart home, and then really any of the regular functions, or most of the regular functions that you have with Amazon's voice assistant, you have right here on your watch. Now, it has to maintain Bluetooth connectivity with your cell phone in order to do that, or your tablet in your home if you'd like, but once it's doing that, you can go ahead and use Amazon's voice assistant pretty much as per normal. Now, the other things that they've integrated here: Spotify is native integration. You have to have a subscription there, but you can go ahead and control Spotify music, or through the Bluetooth connection, you can control other music services through your smartphone. You also have the opportunity to utilize Fitbit Pay, which is essentially just scanning your watch at lots of tap locations. That's very powerful. And then there is an app store that extends capabilities. I have things like Starbucks cards on my watch. In terms of likes, this is definitely a good looking smartwatch to me. I find some of the larger brand names to be a bit overbearing, and I really enjoy the look and feel. Even on my wrist now, It feels a lot better than some of the older versions that I'd put on. I'm not feeling any pain, and I've been able to sleep with it without really noticing that it was on my wrist. I've also been able to loosen it a little, and that's one of the things I find with these fitness trackers is that you have to get it pretty tight on your wrist in order to get accurate readings, but not with the Versa 2. I haven't noticed any differential as I've opened up the watch. If it's bugging me a little or I just want a little bit of extra space for a bit, then I just go ahead, I go down one spot on the loop here, and it seems to operate just fine. The overall construction here I think is very good. Now, literally this morning I dropped it and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be able to get this thing on screen because it's going to be shattered. It totally survived from about 5 feet up in the air. I was trying to put it on my wrist and just dropped it. It landed on tile, no less, and totally came up fine. Now, it's very rugged, and that's what I mean by this construction. It is definitely built to last, and I don't even have a screen protector on it, so I was really worried about it initially, but I've run it into a few things and it has stayed strong and looks perfect, just the same as it did on day one. The price is obviously very reasonable, and with a 5-day battery life, I can actually measure my sleep or kind of monitor my sleep patterns and look at those over a number of days. I really like the fitness tracking options on here, and quite frankly, the application is very blunt with me, and I like that about it. It might not be for everyone, but it tells me how my resting heart rate is versus the average population. It also tells me what I can go ahead and work on. I mean, it's been telling me I haven't got enough sleep, and I haven't for the last couple of weeks, and it's telling me very plainly and telling me why that might benefit me as well. So it's very clear, and the application, I'm finding reasons to go into that application and have a look every day. So they've improved it enough over the last couple of years to make me want to utilize the application. The interface on here is built for speed in a number of ways, and I really like that because it's intended to save me time. And you know, that's kind of one of the big things I love about technology is when it actually does save me time. Now, there's a couple of different swipes that you can do. You can manage your day or monitor your day by swiping up, and that allows you to see all of how you've been doing today without going into the application if you just want that quick view. You can also swipe over to the left from the right hand side to get a number of different apps, things like timers and weather, and get the news and all of your other apps that you've installed as well, things like Spotify. Now, you can swipe down to see notifications. So if you've got some text messages and you didn't catch it when it first popped up, you can go ahead and have a look there. You can also control your music from there, and some quick settings like turning the device always on or turning on the display to an always on mode. Very quick, very powerful, and a lot of things you can do with just a couple of swipes and taps. And one of my favorite things to do is while I'm working out, I have my cell phone actually casting to a Google Home device or any of my smart speakers in my home, and as soon as I do that, I can control on this smartwatch. I don't need to stop, I don't need to go over to my cell phone, I don't have to have this strapped to my arm. I have this right here, and this is obviously something I'm going to have with me all the time. It's quick control to move between songs and really just manage the music overall. Amazon's voice assistant is actually really quick to use as well. You just hold the button here on the device, and as I hold that, it goes into Amazon's voice assistant, and I've been starting timers all the time utilizing this. Instead of using the wake word, it's also allowed me to get things like the weather very quickly on my watch. I don't have to think about it. And the other thing that I've really enjoyed is controlling my smart home. It's very powerful to have Amazon's voice assistant attached to your wrist and able to kind of walk through your home and control everything. Now, there is some negatives here that I do have to talk about, especially in regards to Amazon's voice assistant. That Amazon voice assistant does work, and when it's connected, it works really well, but it has been disconnecting, and this is a major problem because I'm trying to save time with this. So what I'm having to do is go back into the application and reconnect my account. Now, I'm talking with FitBit support, but they really had no idea what was going on, and you know, I would expect this to get resolved, but check back in. Go ahead and ask whether or not we got this resolved in the comments below. There's a premium service, and that's a monthly service. It's about $10 US, and quite frankly, it's silly. And this is a really good example of every company wants these monthly subscriptions. They're basically killing us with these, and this one is silly. And unfortunately, this is a great example of a company coming and carving something out of what I think should be embedded in the device. This is a real worth of the device. And what they've done here is, you know, this measures my heart rate all the time. It also measures my sleep cycles, and I can see different, and it's great information. I can see my different components of my sleep cycles. And what was kind of at the bottom of my sleep cycle chart was a statement that I needed premium to be able to see what was essentially the combination of my heart rate and my sleep cycle. So if I took the two graphs, I could just overlay them and see the information that they wanted to charge me for. And that's really something that shouldn't be cut out. That should just be sitting in there. And don't get me wrong, when you go ahead and you sign up for that premium service, which I tried out a trial on, you get great information from them. But I don't understand cutting out, basically taking my data and saying, okay, we're not going to tell you something about that data, but charge you $10 a month. The App Store here is weak, and let's be honest, the clock faces are weak unless you want to pay a couple of dollars to a customized developer. Not only that, but it feels like to me that the App Store is a little bit the Wild West, and I'll give you an example here. When I put in my Starbucks card, which I love having the option for, it didn't ask me to verify on my phone. I just put in the number from the Starbucks application and it's sitting here. I feel like anyone could just take my number, put it in here. So I'm not going to show that on the video today. Fitbit has always been one of the pioneers, and I kind of said that at the start of the video here. And unfortunately now they've been passed by a lot of companies. And it's not so much the smartwatch components of this. I mean, those are fine. They're not perfect. They're not an Apple Watch. That's fine. But where they've been passed is in some of the health monitoring, some of the fitness monitoring, and really some of the different sensors on board a smartwatch. We've seen this with a lot of other companies. And while this is still a budgetary option, I feel like Fitbit should be there as a company. That should be what they're really providing, and I would rather have had them really bear down on the fitness options here, the fitness monitoring, the data I'm getting, and really ignore some of these other smart components or smartphone components. I really wouldn't care as much, and I would just say this is absolutely number one, the best fitness watch. So I'd like to see Fitbit focus much more on that side of things. I don't think they're amazing at integrating things like Spotify or integrating things like the weather, and quite frankly, I don't care that much. So I'd rather have them kind of return back to what they were great at and really focus in on that. Now, what's funny about my recommendation is this is still a pretty good budget choice at around that $200 mark, but I'm not sure if you go out and you buy it for the Amazon Voice Assistant integration. I'm not sure if you go out and you buy it for the Spotify integration. I think you can kind of reduce, if you're looking at a watch from Fitbit, I think you can actually kind of go and reduce the choice here. You could go buy a Charge 3 or the Inspire HR. I think you could go and purchase one of those and save yourself some money and get just about everything you're looking for here. You can go and compare on their website, and really I'd recommend you do that before you go pick a Fitbit. The experience is great, the fitness tracking is great, but you don't necessarily need the smart components here. Now, of course, I would understand if you wanted to save your money, build up a little more, and go out and purchase something kind of higher level like the Apple Watch 5 or the Galaxy Watch 2s that are coming out here. So go ahead, if that's kind of your bag, you want more smart home control, of course, those are great options here. They're going to be a lot more money. Now, obviously, if you've enjoyed this video, I want you to hit that subscribe button that is showing up on the page right now. Otherwise, guys, don't hate, automate.